Hi, and welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel, and we're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. And now we have with us a couple of young ladies who have are working with an organization called Kids First Project, and I'm very impressed with what they've told me so far, and I think you will be too. So I'm going to start out talking with Alicia Zhao. You are the Executive Director, and Rebecca Reynolds, the Operations Director. Thanks for being here, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
You bet. Now, you're both students at Lincoln High School, correct,
Yes.
in Portland? So tell me, how did Kids First Project get started, and what's your mission?
So all stemmed when we were freshmen in high school, actually. So I personally started volunteering at Portland Homeless Family Solutions, which is just one of 2 family shelters on our side of the river in Portland, Oregon. And I was really inspired by the kids that I met there. They were very uplifting, always positive, always there to take care of their siblings. And the families were very community-like. It felt like a home, and I was accepted. And I felt like there had to be a way to give back to my friends, really. So this all started with Hope for Homeless Club, and this was where Rebecca came in. And we saw an issue that was unaddressed after teaching civic and government classes, holding drives, creating and serving countless meals at the shelter, and expanding to other organizations very similar to PHFS. We saw that the children weren't getting needs that would help them reach their full potential. So this ultimately led to the creation of our nonprofit Kids First Project, which we officially established last summer.
Wow. Congratulations, that's really exciting. So you've been involved through school with these service projects and community service projects, which is great, I think, and I know Lincoln's very well known for its civic engagement and its forays into that area. But the needs you say that the kids didn't have met, I mean, do they get enough food? Do they get enough clothing? Are you talking about more social interaction? What are the things that you think are lacking in a lot of the other organizations?
Well, I think one of the things that is lacking is sort of an access to other services, such as mentoring from someone who they can confide in, or tutoring to get help with school that they might not necessarily be getting help with, or even just the simple actions of, playing with other kids or just doing arts and crafts. And that's a need that really needs to be addressed, because I think that's part of being a kid. And if you're not getting that, I think that there's no way you're going to be able to reach your full potential.
It's part of being a well-rounded person.
Right.
It's like when they take away the music and arts and sports and everything from the schools, it's those things are important. Everybody needs that besides just the academic things. So how are you able to help fill those needs? You don't have a location, or do you have a specific location?
Right. So what's special about us is that we're a traveling organization. So when we were creating our idea, we knew that we had to create an idea that wasn't already being implemented, and we were going to do it in a more creative, more abstract way. So what we is a traveling organization that brings recreational and educational programs to youth experiencing homelessness all around Portland and the surrounding communities. And we basically try to maximize what's already being provided. At one of our partners, which is a transitional housing organization, we had asked them if they had any volunteers, and they responded that they did not have any volunteers, and what kind of services they provide to their children outside of finding housing and giving these financial support and needs for their parents. And they said that they did not provide any type of services to the children in shelter.
Some organizations can only do so much.
Right.
You only have so much money, and you focus it where you think it's most needed. But yeah,
right.
So the kids' needs weren't being met. So how do you respond to that? And do you partner with different organizations and try to fill the niches that are, or the holes that are left there where they're now able to take care of it?
So we usually bring in our programs about once a week, and we see that there's a lot of issues that are being unaddressed. So we bring a lot of things, like Rebecca said, mentoring, tutoring, we bring in physical activity, creativity, basically all the things that will fulfill our bar of hope, which is health, opportunity, play, and education. And by doing so, we'll have about an hour to play with the kids, and we allow volunteers from all different ages. So whether it's kids, teens, or adults, it's a better way for the kids to feel comfortable around us. And if they prefer to play with kids, then they're able to relate better with them.
So it's an opportunity for kids, any age, to actually be doing some community service, whether they see it that way or not.
Right.
They're going to be giving of themselves. How does that affect the volunteers? That's got to be pretty powerful, I would think, to be in there, especially if you're working with your own peers. So you're talking about kids through teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think that the impact on any volunteer is huge. I mean, you're working with someone who could potentially be the same age as you, who potentially found themselves in that situation that anyone can find themselves in. And I think that not only do you create sort of a relationship with them where you realize that they are the same as you become so much more grateful for what you have.
Yeah, because with anybody, homelessness could be just, a day away, because you don't know what's going to happen to any of us. Situations change and life changes and throws little curveballs at us. So, people don't usually grow up thinking, I want to be homeless when I grow up. It just is something that happens. So how do people become involved? And do you need more volunteers?
So people can get involved through our website. So kidsfirstproject.org/volunteer is where people can fill out an application. It's really easy. It takes about 5 minutes. And then depending on the organization, they might have to attend an in-person orientation. But then there's a link on our volunteer page that allows them to go to our slots and then easily sign up for whatever days, times, positions that they want to do. So they can be a kid time host where they play with kids in the age group that they specify. So it's 0 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 through 13, and 14 through 18. So there's a lot of different selections.
Yeah.
Or if they prefer background work, they can email info@kidsfirstproject.org and help with things like posters. We even have a prospective intern for our organization. And we have a lot of different areas that can be fulfilled that people can volunteer in.
Can people volunteer, say I have this whole Saturday I'm available, but I can't do it on a weekly basis, or I can do it for 3 months, but after that I'm not available. Can they, kind of customize the volunteer experience to what they have available?
Right, we have no volunteer requirements, so if someone wants to come once, just once, then they can do that. Or if they want to bring in a group of friends or their colleagues, they can adopt a night, so we can accommodate up to 15 people, and they will help out with a lot of shelter needs that accommodate people that like to interact with others or would prefer to do the background work.
How do you manage a nonprofit when you're going to school? I mean, that seems like a whole lot of work to me. What do you do? How much of your time does that take?
I think we both have different perspectives. We can both share on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that managing a nonprofit and going to school it's a big responsibility, but I think it's the passion for what we do which really makes it worth the while, and you make time for that if you care about it.
Yeah, something's important enough to you, you'll find the time for it. So, what about you?
Rebecca actually nailed it. I was going to say passion as well, but I think it's really just realizing that there's a whole world out there, and to see that all the experiences you get out of pursuing your passions will ultimately be just as useful as the knowledge you gain in the classroom.
Very well said. I would agree with that. Yeah. If you have something you're passionate about, don't ignore it. That's really important. How do you feel like you've made a difference in the lives of the kids that you've worked with? Can you tell me about any other kids that you've worked with and how they've been?
So back when Hope for Homeless Club was still happening my sophomore year in high school at PHFS, it still happens, but this was before Kids First Project. We met a 14-year-old girl whose family owned a food cart, and as you guys know, this is a huge part of the culture in Portland.
Right.
And they did not have as good of business one month, and they found themselves homeless, which was a situation where they would not have ever imagined would happen to them.
So this wasn't something where they've kind of been in and out of homelessness like some families are. They were fine, and then they weren't.
And there's a lot of misunderstanding around homelessness too. There's a lot of different stages. So there's acute, moderate, and chronic. And what often happens is chronic is usually emphasized, where there's mental illnesses or
drug addictions. Or,
which is also a huge issue, but there's also moderate homelessness, which often happens to a lot of families that lose health care or someone lost a job in the family.
Right.
So
there was some sort of extenuating circumstances that put them in that.
So this girl and her family were experiencing moderate homelessness, and we met her in the shelter, and she was always taking care of her brother. She was passionate about wrestling, but she had to quit because she did not have the time because the shelter was an hour away from her school. So we brought in her services like cooking meals and such and bringing in the arts and crafts. And she was really engaged. She was really inspired by the work we did since she understood the importance of community service. Yet she never really volunteered before that. But after we brought in her services, she volunteers with us every week. And she's really passionate about service learning. And she's actually creating a Hope for Homeless Club at her school next year.
Oh, that's so great. That's beautiful to be able to pass on that passion to somebody else. You brought some pictures that I'd like to show of some of the, arts and crafts and things that you were doing. So maybe we could take a look at those. Because it looks like everybody's having such a good time when they're, when they're working with the kids. Let's see if we can get those. Okay. What are we doing here?
Okay, so this one was from the 2014 PHFS Holiday Family Party.
And what's it called again?
It's the Holiday Village Family Party.
Okay.
Sort of lengthy, but these are kids that used to be in shelter, and you can see the community that Kids First Project and PHFS have brought together, where the families still come back because it was such a huge impact on them, and the kids here are playing and celebrating the holidays.
They're all dressed up so nice, and look at these, look so cute. Oh.
So this is from a field trip that we did as a part of Kids First Project.
Is this at,
This is the PSU football game.
Yeah, okay,
one of our peer mentoring program director,
Vikings, that's what
right? She goes to PSU and she got free tickets, and she thought it would be a wonderful idea to bring them to a football game.
So if there's a business out there that maybe has, or a person who has a bunch of free tickets, you could donate them to you?
Absolutely,
You could probably find a use for them?
Yeah, providing an opportunity to kids to go out and experience things is
Like some examples have been the Oregon Zoo field trip and miniature golf downtown Portland. Anything, is an amazing
Anything
experience.
a normal kid would enjoy.
Yeah.
So what is this here? This looks like a panel discussion of some kind, or?
Yeah, so this was our kickoff event to celebrate sort of the creation of Kids First Project. We had a night-long event. A lot of speakers came, and we just promoted our project and our work that we're looking forward to doing. And at the end here, we had this panel of our speakers, and people asked questions and sort of.
Nice, nice. What are your hopes for the organization going forward? Do you have plans to change the way you're working, or is it working well with the model you have?
We're working very well right now. We're actually working on 5 more partners under Central City Concern. So this is in Clackamas and all around our community. But we're definitely looking towards expanding globally. So whether that's creating chapters, we have one in Puerto Rico, but we want to create more impact through possibly creating more curriculum books.
Right, so one of the projects we're working right now is creating curriculum books of all the different services that we've brought, and sort of a model for taking that anywhere across the country or across the globe and implementing what we have created here in Portland with our services anywhere else.
It works here. Somebody can take all the information, all the things that you've learned, and start it somewhere else. Would you recommend that kids do it, that students do that? Is that how it's set up, or is it for anybody to do?
Anybody can implement a chapter. We've had kids interested. We've even had some adults interested in helping out. Our advisory board is actually composed of all adults of all different ages, just reading their experiences.
That's right. That's great. And what are we looking at here? Positive.
Ooh, this was one of the best events. This was held in February, and this was the Positively Posted campaign, which is a national campaign that actually another teenager created who's very passionate about positive social media usage, and we collected about 20 stacks of Post-it notes, and we wrote positive messages on each one, and we decorated it. As you can see, we wrote positive, and hope was in the back. The entire room was decorated. This was part of the Kids First team, and the kids had an amazing time. They were writing their own messages, and they were even posting on each other's backs just to show how much they loved each other.
That's great. Oh, look at her. Adorable.
She is.
So this was an arts and crafts project?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm guessing. She looks so proud of that. It's adorable.
It's a really good one.
Yeah. Oh. So the mentoring that you do, how does that work? Are there repeat, I don't want to say customers, but kids that you see all the time, and that's who you would mentor because you know they're going to be there? Or how does that work?
So it's usually up to their choice. So we give options when we bring our services to programs. So our tutoring and mentoring is one-on-one. So for mentoring in general, we want to create more of an establishment of friendship rather than
It's a relationship, not
right,
just a
right.
one-time.
Rather than like creating a divide between that who is more fortunate and those who are less fortunate. So it's a way to emotionally support each other. So the kid will receive a journal as well as the mentor, and they'll usually be paired up by preference of age, gender, or some other passion or interest. And then they go on field trips together, they talk about any issues they're having, they update each other on successes and celebrations.
So they're really helping each other.
Right, and it's a really great way to create a relationship in a time that may be so stressful or hard to deal with, and to really have a sounding board to be there for them.
I can imagine there would be a lot of times when the mentor is actually getting more than the mentee or whatever you
Right.
call them, because
Yeah.
everybody needs somebody that they can talk to or confide in and have us know that they have your back. We're just about out of time. What else do we need to know? We have there's a Global Youth Service Day. Can you address that real quick? Is that something that's going on right now? Or
Yeah, it's coming up.
It's coming up?
soon.
So the tentative date right now is May 21st, which is on a Sunday, and we currently have 5 partners creating this organization, and it's youth-led nonprofits around Portland, like Hands of Care.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them, yeah.
Yes, Youth Ending Slavery, and a lot of different organizations, and we're all creating this event to talk about the issues that we're addressing and to show the intersectionalities between it, and also how youth are the change that we wish to see in the world that can ultimately create this change that we want to seek for our next generation.
That's well said. I don't think I could add anything to that. We're out of time. Thank you both very much, and kudos to you for this work that you're doing. It's amazing, and it'll change you and a lot of other people too. So very nicely done. Thanks so much for watching Community Hotline. I hope that you feel as inspired as I do, and that you will encourage your kids to go out there and try to become involved, and also to understand that we need to be grateful for what we have. We are very fortunate people, and there's a lot of people that don't have what we have. So be thankful for what you have, share the love, and we'll see you here next week on Community Hotline.
What local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.